Up next, we have Lord of Mysteries, Episode 3. So, this episode kind of kicks off right as some people are using their nightmare abilities to interrogate a person, and it's usually they're trying to find out more info about the notebook of that they're looking for these past few episodes. And given that, I guess I have to really go into depth a bit about how a lot of people have been not knowing what the plot going forward for Lord of Mysteries is, like what's happening with it. So, quick little tangent here. The first two episodes were essentially just setting up what's gonna happen, and what's happening is our main character Klain is trying to get back to his own world, and he obviously tried to do this ritual that would have worked in his prior world that he thought was going to be able to bring him to back to Earth, and it didn't work out. He ended up opening up a divine realm instead. But essentially, moving forward, now he's going to be working with the Nighthawks, to sort of like try to gauge if the Beyond abilities are going to be able to allow him to go back to his own world. And meanwhile, while he's doing that, the whole plot is of the first two episodes was to find this notebook that's supposed to give clue as to what happened to the murder of this prestigious family. So that's essentially what I gathered was the plot of the first two episodes, and hopefully hopefully people are coming to understand that, or after rewatching the first two, it'll be easier to understand what the plot is going forward. So yeah, and this episode on episode 3 though, we get introduced to the Secret Order, or at least we get sort of like a teaser as to what they're capable of. As they let us know that the Secret Order is an ancient organization that has ties to the Solomon Empire and some of the fallen nobles from that empire. And basically what they do is they they go on and do tracking and searching as one of their main focuses. So like Secret Order's actually trying to find this notebook that has gone missing. It's probably very prestigious, and they needed to either hide what they're doing or to further to further hide what happened. Maybe they have something to do with it going missing. I'm not quite sure. Either or. I think it's interesting that we have two secret kind of organizations trying to go for it. One, the Nighthawks, and two, the Secret Order. So really interesting stuff as we get introduced back to some of the prior character, the Dally, the girl that was trying to find info from Klein to see if he knew where the notebook was. Klein initially had sort of like in the previous episode had like a vision of a person that could help him find the notebook. So they're trying to track this person now, and they try using his ability as they try using Klein's ability as a seer to try to locate him, but he couldn't do that because there was an even greater force that was trying to prevent any sort of like beyond their ability from reaching him. So they had to resort to more drastic measures, and they're like, well, looks like we're gonna have to use the sealed artifact to track him down. So they have this sealed artifact, 2049, which is like this puppet thing that basically can control people and turn them into puppets. So before even like being introduced to what it was capable of, people were shaking their hands up and down, constant movement, and Klein was like, well, this is kind of silly. Why are they doing that? And then he started mimicking them, and he realized, oh, they're really just doing this because any person that starts slowing down or stops moving has been affected by this sealed artifact. And these sealed artifacts are not only dangerous, but they always come with a risk of being endangering anybody that's come in contact with or comes close to them. So they're usually sealed in these special chambers to prevent them from ever getting loose, from ever being used unless absolutely necessary. Which this was a case where they were like, okay, we're gonna need to really use this to find out where this guy is, because we need to find this notebook ASAP. And we see that there's this ritual kind of happening with the guy that they're looking for, and the guy that they're looking for kind of turns into a monster-esque type of thing. I think his beyond ability kind of like overtook him, and we have this clown person that was right there witnessing it. He's like, "Oh, I arrived a bit too late." So he waits in the shadows and sees that our Nighthawks are actually at the scene now, and they're trying to get this guy under control. So there's a bunch of like great action in this episode that I cannot overstate how well worth watching. And throughout here, we were kind of left wondering, like, okay, this type of thing is kind of like really dangerous, and they really needed to use all the other people from that had like the sequence 7 in order to get this job done. So like when they saw Klein, who was just like a sequence 9 guy, they were like, okay, well, shoot, this guy's probably gonna hold us back. Like, why are we bringing him here, especially since he's a seer? He doesn't have any combat abilities. Like, why is he here? And Klein kind of had to go into that. Well, knowing that he might be their downfall, or might be the one that weighs them back down. But as they kind of get to it, and they are able to get the notebook, they really relied on Klein. Really used a lot of his ability to be able to get the notebook for them. And the clown guy tries to appear after they get everything done, and it was really interesting that he was able to use like illusion magic. And not only that, but Klein kind of deduced that he also, well, being able to use illusion magic or illusion type of ability, he's also kind of able to perceive what people were gonna do. So instead of like when he was aiming at him, instead of aiming for him, he aimed at a spot where he was most likely to go, and actually end up hitting him. So really smart of him to do that. And we know that this clown guy is another 7 sequence guy, or possibly even higher. So this guy was just using this fight to kind of plot a way to get them closer to the sealed artifact, so that they could all be affected by the sealed artifact. And in doing so, he was going to be able to take away the notebook and kind of mosey down out of there. But as everybody was being affected by it, Klein noticed, like, okay, well, shoot, everybody's pretty much done for. I need to do something. And he remembers about his divine realm that he's able to conjure up or able to go into, and he uses that as a way to plan and kind of plot his way out of this situation. So he goes there, and when he comes back, he's able to move again, and kind of takes this guy by surprise, and eventually leads him to where the sealed artifact is. So that guy was starting to get effective. But I do like that this clown guy was trying to persuade Clyde to like turn on everybody, kind of see where his morals were, whether he was gonna be one that betrays people or one that actually goes and helps people. And I like that he kind of chose that that he wants to help the current people he's with. But also the clown guy gave him a very interesting tidbit of like how to reach sequence 8, and that was like he has to drink the clown potion, as we know. And it's really interesting that we have people that have to keep taking potions, and in doing so will be able to upgrade their own abilities. So afterwards, we just kind of see Klein kind of just be praised by everybody after that. After he gets the guy taken out, he shoots him in the head and then between the eyes, and the clown guy really gets up and is screaming like Hornicus or something like that. Hornicus. And then falls flat. And I do like that they point out, oh, he was a he was a part of the secret order, and we see this tattoo on his forearm. So I'm assuming everybody in the secret order is just gonna have that tattoo. And then afterwards, everyone's like, "Oh, you're just a CR9. You really outdid yourself this time around. I can't wait to see what you do in the future." Because now everybody's seeing that Klein is more than what he looks and more than what his paper says about being a CR9. And one of the guys that notices is the same guy from the previous episode that took interest in him, and he lets him know, listen, sometimes there's people like us that are above being special. So we know that guy has another ability that he's keeping secret, or we can kind of assume that he has another ability that he hasn't showed everybody. And I'm really interested in to see how him and Klein kind of develop the dynamic, or like what his plans for Klein is, and just overall a really great episode. I also do like the ending portion of it, where Klein kind of decides I should go back and visit my history teacher, who the history teacher also seems to be part of the secret society or secret order, or definitely a secret organization, because he warns Klein that he that it's good that he likes history, but he shouldn't wander into forbidden areas, because he could be stepping into misfortune. So it's kind of a very ominous warning. I'm sure Klein took notice of that. He seems like a very smart individual, and just kind of like just putting the notebook and the way that the guy was screaming Hornesis just makes you wonder, like, a lot of things are kind of connecting, and this guy knows more than what he told Klein. And I'm interested to find out where the story goes now that they have their notebook, and Klein wants to continue on and figure out what happened. And especially now that the notebook's there, maybe there'll be something on about the missing day that there's no record of from his own notebook. And yeah, overall this show is incredible. Great. This is probably the best episode so far that they've produced, so I'm giving this a 10 out of 10.